Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we bring it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Tobo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Focal.
Mary Lauren. I feel like she's going to be judging whether or not I understood whatever she thought at reading time. All protocol observed. Dr. H. Boimah Fahnbulleh Jr. is the second child of Ambassador H. Boimah Fahnbulleh Sr. and Ma Mary Bownell. The first child is Auntie Nyata Fahnbulleh. The marriage between Ambassador Fahnbulleh and Ma Mary produced a third child, Julius Fahnbulleh, who currently resides in the US. Dr. Fahnbulleh Jr. attended schools in Liberia, Sierra Leone, the UK, Kenya, and the United States, where he got his PhD from the George Washington University in Washington, D.C., USA. He has been an assistant professor, a minister of education, a minister of foreign affairs, an advisor on international and political affairs, a national security advisor in several successive governments in Liberia. He has written extensively on Liberian political affairs, which can be found in 2 published volumes. He has published a novel and is completing a second one at the moment. He is a devout Pan-Africanist and has lived in several African countries throughout his years as a political activist. He has retired from public service and is currently writing his memoirs. He returned home last year after living for 6 years in Ghana, England, and Sierra Leone. He is back home permanently and, as he says, enjoying his retirement in solitude. His daughter, Dr. Boimah Fahnbulleh, I'm struggling with the names because I see that she's named after her aunt and her grandmother at the same time, is a member of the British Parliament, and his son Gamal Fahnbulleh is a senior news broadcaster at a major television in England. Dr. Fahnbulleh is an avid fan of Liverpool Football Club. And I'm sorry to report that they knocked them out yesterday at the European Champions League last night, which makes this day obviously not a very good one for him. Although it's also a wonderful day because he's going to be celebrating the birthday of his mother. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fahnbulleh.
The family, especially my mother, for a very, very long time. I see him now and again, and I think we need to hold him to account to tell us the story of Liberia from the perspective of an old foreign policy observer. I want to say here, for me, it's an honor to always talk about my mother, and I just say a little thing about my mother. A friend said to me, "Oh, I don't usually see you in suits. You look all dressed up today." I said, "My mother's birthday. Let me tell you something. I always presented myself before my mother very clean, very astute, and very conscious, because she was very observant. But I had a trick I play on her. I always kept 2 neckties in my car. If I get to her house with just my jacket on, Before I get into the house, I put one tie on, fix my coat. And he said, Papa, oh, you look so nice. Where are you coming from? I said, work. She said, uh-huh. When I get out, I just take off my tie. Because she was somebody who, as most people know, had the qualities of most women of substance. She was loyal to a fault. And I will cite instances of her loyalty. She was compassionate. You talk about somebody who identified with people not because of the status, the class, or the religion. She was compassionate, kind-hearted. And then she had very strong attachment to her religion, to her people, to her school. This was the woman I knew. And interestingly, we never talked politics. There was a mutual respect and understanding. My mother one day never asked me about events. We sat, I ate in her presence, and I could see she wanted to ask something. But she respected my conviction. And that's what I admire about her. Sometimes she say, oh, Papa, the people say this. I say, yeah, Mama. But you went to this cabinet meeting to say so and so. I said, did they? You are national security advisor. I said, is that so? And she told people he doesn't talk. When you talk about loyalty, my mother had some friends to whom she was so committed that you would think they were her blood relatives or sister. There was an instance during the Civil War, April crisis in Monrovia. I had a cousin at LEC, and the line crossed. I picked up the phone to call Dr. Sawyer and heard this woman talking about my mother. Ma Mary Bownell should be killed. She shouldn't survive. I said, Mom, come. Listen to this, your friend. I gave my mother the phone. She listened. And then she said to this person, okay, I can hear you. And she put the phone down. I said, Mama, you shouldn't have said that. I said, well, you see how people think. Next morning, I brought it up again. I said, Mama, there are dangerous people around. She said, but she's my sister. And this woman appeared at my mother's house on Ashmont Street. I'm sitting in the living room with my mother. She stopped when she saw me. And my mother said, come in. And this woman said, Sis May, come and hug me and forgive me. My mother got up in my presence and embraced this woman who the day before had said she should be killed and said, everything is forgiven. She sat down. The second time, there was a lady in Banga, over Banga radio station, saying that this war in Monrovia should not leave certain people alive like Mary Bownell. I said, Mama, that's another of your friends. She said, Papa, what do you expect them to do? They're under duress. So that loyalty translated to everybody she knew, who she could trust. The people who came from the villages, the people who came from the slums, who were attached to her simply because she was a woman of nobility, a woman of substance. And I'm embarrassed to talk about my mother this way. Sometimes I go places, people don't even know she's my mother. I remember there was a lady who said, Madam Mary Bownell is a very, very nice woman. And she has a very nice daughter called Miata, etc., and the other son called Bokai. I'm sitting there. And somebody said, but I thought it was a third son. She said, no. Oh, you talking about that Boimah? His mother, that one vile, illiterate woman. That's what the woman got called by. That boy is terrible. And for me, it was like, well, so I left, and I think she must have been told who I was. But most people, I don't know because of my politics, do not associate me with this refined woman. I mean, it's like, how can such a decent, humane, compassionate person produce a son who is this way in our parents, as you know, this way. But that was my mother. So her loyalty affected us all. I remember being in America struggling, and my mother said, well, Papa, I'm going to give you a scholarship. I said, Mother, don't even bother. My mother went to this person who was a minister, and said to my mother, oh, Mary, your son wants scholarship, had to do PhD where you can't see me after work. My mother was incensed. She was angry, and she called me. She said, can you imagine this man? I said, Mama, forget about these people. Why do you bother? This is my country, and I deserve to be respected. You don't tell me that. So, that was Mary Bownell. Compassion, the amount of people she helped, the amount of people she brought into her fold. They were friends of ours, like Senator Jay. I was leaving Liberia. I said, you stay in my room. My mother took him as her son. People came from all over. Mom, you gotta be careful of some of those people. Papa, I'm just doing God's work. That's how beautiful she was. Compassionate. Then her attachment to her religion. She used to joke, my sister, say, Emmanuel, I'll leave my house to my church. Like, Mom. And Tata would say, I would just go to the court and say, my mother was not well. Tata, she's serious what she's saying. St. Thomas Church. Yes. In the morning, we go to church. I had a trick on her again. Right, Ma? When my driver didn't come, Papa, please come and drop me to church. She was expecting me to be dressed. And I'll wear a tracksuit. Go there. But why you didn't dress? I said, Ma, I was doing something just came. She never missed a Sunday except she was very, very sick. She believed in her God, and then she believed in her country. Liberia was everything to her. Mama, let's get out of this place so you survive. She said, this is my country. I only go if it's necessary. She loved her country, respected her people. A very, very simple woman. And that brings me into this idea of all these great women in our country. Some of them I encounter. Women who have sacrificed so much for Liberia. Women who have given the best. I remember Galilee Brewer. I saw this woman just as another Liberian woman going around until I was told by Stokely Carmichael and Mary Makeba as a young student at Fulbright College that you have a great Pan-Africanist in Liberia. And who is that? Galilee Brewer. I said, who's that? Oh, you don't know, says Galilee Brewer? I said, no. When you get back, find her. She was at Galilee Flower Park, and I met her. A decent woman. Then, of course, you had George Edmund Shano Wasser, fearless, a upholder of the Constitution of Liberia, a fighter for justice, fearless, who in her court, when the students started cheering the colleagues and the Chief Justice got annoyed, she said, but these are children. They're excited by this. I think she was JR, a joint resolution getting her from the legal service. She was a great woman. And then that titan of womanhood, Mary Anthony Brown Shem, Dr. Mary Anthony Brown Shem. We sat at her feet at the University of Liberia, listening to her, lecture us at her duty as president of the university. Some of her correspondence with the late President Tolba I have in my files. Very, very concerned. He said, you have students there teaching foreign ideologies. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I have students who are teaching political science. Probably that's in the course of study. And Mary held her own. Mary held her own, defending what she believed in. When the students came from prison and went to the university campus, what she said, you guys have to be very careful, you are young people. But in her heart of hearts, she knew that her country was changing and she had to be part of the changes. Fast forward to the regime of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. I was called by a particular minister, a lady. There was crisis, a shortage of rice on the market. And this woman said, Madam, please send your national security advisor with me. Got in my office and went to the free port of Monrovia. And this woman said, Dr. Fahnbulleh, look at this warehouse. These people are creating artificial scarcity. They're playing games with us. But we're not allowed them. We left from there and went to our office. And this merchant was standing there trembling. I could see he was frightened. I left and went to the president. I said, Madam, your minister is not joking. We went to the port. I'm talking about Madam Olubageke. He said, yes, that's how I know what she can do. So what I saw there was somebody who didn't care whether this man was a millionaire. She was saying to herself, you cannot shortchange our people. You cannot come here, make money, create artificial shortage to make profit. We will not allow that. A fearless individual. And so many of them. And I'm always happy to know that our people, Liberian women, as far back as the 1920s, they had formed the Liberian National Social and Political Movement. Women who went ahead to support Edwin J. Barton, one of the most noble Africans who ever walked this continent. They had supported him. And all the other movements that emerged, my mother as the center, other people. And then I was reflecting recently, my sister said, you won't talk for long. I said, let me say something. You know, old people have wisdom. Old people have wisdom. Some young guy thinking he's smart, but even fools get old. I said, no, you are the fool. Because you see, by the time the person gets old, he will have experienced so much in life. He will have seen so much. That is wisdom. It's like during the war. The old chief in Lofa County, our chief, Chief Tamba Taylor, was told by the rebels, look in your pocket. The old man said, how do you expect me to look in my pocket when you have taken my trousers? They didn't understand. The wisdom there was, you have despoiled our territory. You have looted our goods. You have brutalized our people. You have left us naked. And you say I should give you my trousers? That's wisdom. That is wisdom, which the old people have. And President Joseph Boakai, he sets up his flagship program, his agenda, called Arrest. More people have not thought seriously to go through that. What he has done, he has put on the shoulders of the women of Liberia the responsibility of transforming this society. Arrest. A, for agriculture. Who are most of the peasant farmers up country? They're women. Most of the peasant farmers are women. That's A. R, for road. Most of those who traverse the roads up country, farm to market, are women. The rule of law, R. 3 women sit on your Supreme Court as associate justices. 3 women. There are 5 associate justices, there are 3 women. The Chief Justice, C.I. Yo, there's James Wolokoli, there's Helen Johnson. So, rule of law, justice lies on the shoulder of women who can carry it forward. Education. At the Ministry of Education, our sister is the minister. Most of the dynamic teachers in Liberia were women. My classmate, she probably has forgotten, Dr. Evelyn White Kandakai, who took classes at Mrs. King's school, Mrs. King. Of course you forget. Surprised who was one of our teachers, Sugars. She was at the convent, very smart. And she used to teach us. She's my teacher, I wouldn't be ashamed to say. Most of the good teachers were women. At the City Beacon School, we had the Principal Weatherspoon and Mrs. Collins. Mrs. Collins rode her bike. That's one of the first women in Liberia to ride a bike. And they saved me. The girls in my class, Rosetta Rana, Rosetta Steele, Arlene Johnson, Dolly Collins, they were all very troublesome. And we used to give it back to them. And Rosetta Steele told Mama, hey, Ma Mary, you know, Boimah insulted me. My mother said, what? You insult a woman? I will discipline you. Next day, my mother took her rat head. Come on, let's go pass before me. I said, I'm finished. Go to the school. She goes into Mrs. Weatherspoon's office. I came to discipline this Boimah. Yeah, right. So what did he do? Oh, Rosetta said he insulted her. They called Rosetta. What did Boimah say? He said, my kiki hey. Miss Weatherspoon said, Mary, that's what you're going to beat Boimah for? Let Boimah go back. These were very, very good teachers, strong women. And strong guys too. Oh, in fact, we're always at the bottom of our classes. Because these guys study who are at the YMCA playing football, etc. Good people. Some of them in life did very well, married and children. We still remember them. The women in education have played a very powerful role. Like my mother, she lived for her boatswain school. That's what she believed in. And I tell you, I got her letters up to the age of 88. Our mother penmanship was exemplary. You could read, she wrote on lineless papers, and it didn't go twisted or anything. And then she never wore glasses. A very determined woman. So in our country, we have accidents. We have had accidents. But whenever our women stand together, united and organized, we can traverse the accident. And even if they goes into the emergency room, the ER, they can nurse the Republic until we get into the recovery room, as that happened. And they bear a responsibility. I tell you something, whenever nations go through crisis, some of the best writers to tell the story, the tragedy of the people, are always women. In Latin America, Isabel Allende, House of the Saints. In South Africa, Nadim Golderman, the conversationalist, talking about the struggle. In Nigeria, one of the best accounts of the Nigerian Biafran War is Half of a Rising Sun by the Nigerian writer Chimamanda. Wherever, the American Civil War, a classic novel which has lasted the test of time and have educated us about the nature of the American Civil War, is Margaret Mitchell, Gone with the Wind. This passion of women to tell the story in the subcontinent, in Asia, one of the best writers is Arundhati Roy. These women bring out the tragedy in such a way you can see they are honest. This is what is necessary. Honest women who understand what needs to be done, because they are mothers. They are also creators of rich society. The old people say, behind every successful man, there stands a woman. Also, behind every great man that falls, there also stands a woman. So is this combination you need? Strong, powerful women. Strong, powerful women who understand their responsibility to the nation. And committed, honest men who know what is to be done. My sister is moving around. That's to signal to me that you're almost time zone. You know, we've come a long way in this society, and we of the older generation, as we head towards the twilight, as we crawl towards the twilight of our end, we look back on the landscape And what do we see? A broken nation. Yes, and I said to a friend, I don't envy President Bokai. He inherited a mess. When you have a society where those who create the political class are the chief importers of drugs to children, where mothers get up in the morning and they don't know whether the baby's going to school, will not be hooked on kush. An election comes and you see some women in the street parading, we want kush, we want kush. There must be a lot of fighting parents, a lot of fighting women for you. These women had their own trials. They had difficult times. Sometimes I watch my mother when she thinks of her father, I see the tears rolling down her eyes. And she said to me, Papa, the first time I saw my father's nakedness was in 1955, when he was dragged to the streets of Monrovia naked. These our mothers have seen a lot. They endure within the hearts the pain and suffering of the children, of the brothers, of the sisters. And all we can say to them, you have started a good journey. When the nation is built by men and women, women who understand what it means to nurture a child, and they want to nurture a nation, it is a good thing. I didn't mention sanitation. Yes. And then they had Sister Mary Bownell. My experience, I'm coming from my mother's place, right at the corner of Benson and Newport Street. There's a barrier. I was going home. I talked my way to the barrier. No, I just go in there. They said, go. They didn't tell me Mary Bownell was down the road. I drove my car. When I got there, there was another barrier. And I looked, I saw Mary coming. I said to myself, Jesus, lover of my soul, let me to that bosom fly. She came. I thought, SB, you know you shouldn't be here. I said, well, you know, Mary, all right. I wrote it. She said, you will not pass here until we're finished. Go back to Ma Mary's house. We laugh about it, but I could understand. She was saying to me intelligently, you set the example. You should not pass this way. You had these women in the system who desire nothing. They were not like the, excuse my language, the slave queens who today think that the resources of the people are meant for them to wear Brazilian hair long. If you want to do that, you go. Make your own money. The taxpayers' money belongs to the people. Should be sent to the hospitals, benches for the children in school. You must make sure that the people are given a decent life. I say to people, a society is a tripod. It's a tripod. It lies on 3 sticks. Me, mine, and the others. You take care of yourself. You take care of your family. You leave the others. They become your armed robbers. When you send your children to England and America and they come back, you have to live behind iron bars because you have not built societies. You have neglected the masses of the people who become angry about the day. And when they are angry, they respond not with reason and rationality, like members of the middle or upper class. They respond with emotions. So please, mothers, follow these great women who have gone before. They can be bold, they can be courageous. I was told of a lady during the war, PHP, she used to sell her little rice and fried fish. And this notorious soldier took her goods, and this woman grabbed him by the shirt. The bosom, Mambi, she said the two of us will die here today. I'm not afraid. And before I said, I talked with a very nice woman who I put on my detail. She had fought the war. They call her Black Diamond. And we travel up country. To be frank, we travel with Grand Jide. And obviously, about 12, I heard noise. And, I took my piece and went outside. She said, Dad, what are you doing? I said, I heard noise. She said, Dad, go and sleep. I've been in war before. And I said to her, oh, you fought? She said, yeah. Why did you fight? I was abused. My sister was molested. And so I took her arms to defend myself. Do not push the women to the wall. When they bounce back, the bountiful decency way to the emotional distrust of injustice, and they can fight back. Our women will fight back. You must fight back for the sake of your country and for your children. God bless you.
Let's give him another round of applause. Wonderful. Wow. We must what? Women, oh, women. Women, oh, women. No longer women at the back and the men in the front, but together we work together side by side. Let me recognize the Honorable Julia Duncan, herself, former Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection. She's here. Thank you so much. We're moving on. This is wonderful. Dr. Fahnbulleh, we say thank you. Let me recognize
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV. With check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV. Bringing you face-to-face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV. The best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Topo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep focal.